Hello and thanks for joining us for an abridged version of Nationwide Today. I am Elizabeth Omori. We're starting a little behind schedule due to the closing ceremony of the Ministerial Performance Retreat. President Muhammad Buhari has signed an executive order on improving performance management, coordination and implementation of presidential priorities of the federal government of Nigeria. The executive order is part of government strategy to institutionalize the Ministerial Performance Review Retreat for ministers, permanent secretaries and top government functionaries to achieve the priorities of the present administration to improve the economy and social development. More details will come subsequently. The National Assembly says it is disheartening that out of the 36 state assemblies, only 11 have considered and voted on the 44 constitution alteration bills transmitted to them. National Assembly Joint Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution stated this at the committee's joint briefing. Ignatius Nkwo tells us more.
On the 1st of March 2022, the National Assembly voted on 68 constitutional alteration bills. 44 were passed by both chambers of the National Assembly. On the 29th of March, 44 of those bills were transmitted to state assemblies. 24 state houses of assembly are constitutionally required to pass the bills, but 6 months after, only 11 states have considered and passed them. The Joint Committee attributed the delay to the position of Conference of Speakers of State Houses of Assembly, which insisted on the inclusion of 4 bills, including state police.
State police. 2, a bill to establish State Judicial Council. 3, a bill to streamline the procedure for removing presiding officers of State Houses of Assembly. And 4, a bill to institutionalize legislative bureaucracy in the Constitution. It is legally and constitutionally inappropriate for the Conference of Speakers to use the 4 bills as a quid pro quo to act on the 44 bills the National Assembly has transmitted.
At this point, the Constitutional Review Committee made an appeal to Nigerians.
Please permit us to use this opportunity to appeal to citizens, civil society organizations, interest professional groups, and institutions to prevail on the Conference of Speakers to withdraw their threat to truncate the Constitution amendment process.
We'll be ready to commence the process of making sure that the autonomy for local government, the autonomy for the judiciary, and the autonomy for our legislature is actually approved. When government 5% of autonomy for local government and deny financial autonomy.
Abia, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Delta, and Edo states are the state assemblies that have voted on the bills. Others are Kaduna, Katsina, Lagos, Kogi, Ogun, and Osun states. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
A bit on mining. Nigerian miners have been admonished to key into electronic mining cadaster program to ace business and generate more income. Director General Nigerian Mining Cadaster Office Obadiah Nkon stated this at a sensitization workshop for stakeholders on the adoption of the electronic mining cadaster system EMS Plus in Ibadan. Ayomiku Ajibola reports.
As industry is believed to have the capacity to generate yearly revenue of $60 billion if properly harnessed. To achieve this, investors need to have an idea of how the cadaster system works, considering the country's reputation as it relates to regulation. This Southwest workshop is to synthesize relevant stakeholders on the adoption of the electronic mining cadaster following the enactment of the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act 2007.
To be able to now have it effective, we have to be able to now make it efficient, we have to be able to now make it transparent, and we'll be able to now adapt it to the whole world.
It reduces human contact, and where there is reduction of human contact, there's reduction of corruption, There's reduction of bureaucracy.
I think it's going to really go a long way in helping the effectiveness and efficiency of many cadastral processes.
The electronic version of what the cadaster is doing is actually one of the things that we needed the most to improve on the mining sector.
The overall objective of the electronic mining cadastral system is to improve governance in the mining sector by establishing a modern web-based system for generating and managing minerals rights. The efficient, transparency, and reliable administration of such titles is a key factor in increasing growth and investment in the mining sector in Nigeria. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Intervention and monitoring of disasters from every part of the country will be made easier for the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA) with the inauguration of digital equipment donated by King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center. Director General of the agency, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, said with the equipment, field workers can now be properly coordinated for enhanced disaster management. Ilyasu Yakubu reports.
Got the commission.
With the establishment of an automatic weather observation station to support disaster early warning, preparedness, mitigation, and academic research at the National State University Kefi some month ago by NEMA, now added with audiovisual communication on disaster and humanitarian outlook by King Salman Relief Center, disaster management will now be efficiently carried out. The DG NEMA said the system will no doubt promote early response and facilitate efficient management and deployment of life-saving human and material resources. He said the federal government is grateful to the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center of Saudi Arabia for all the assistance it has been rendering to Nigerians.
There is no doubt that the current flood disaster that has affected the entire Federation of Nigeria has tested the wits of emergency responders and has brought to fore the importance of international collaboration on emergency service delivery in the country. Let me say the King Salman Relief Center has been very benevolent to Nigeria and has been a reliable ally.
Leader of the delegation, Alaska Muaz Suleiman, said the King Salman Relief Center is always passionate about assisting the needy in the society. He announced another donation of 16,000 food basket of relief materials to Borno State for another 2 cycles of intervention to be distributed directly to the IDP camps.
Provision of communication equipment will facilitate the communication between NEMA and the field offices and enable NEMA to coordinate humanitarian response to affected population in the country.
The King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center has been extending donations to Nigerian crisis community since 2018. In Abuja, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
And it's time to join Adeola in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Adeola. Adeola.
Hello, Elizabeth. The Nigeria Police Force has embarked on the training of recruits in the 4 premier police colleges and training schools in preparation for the upcoming general elections on the principles of ethics and public relations. Lynn Leneke reports that the aim is to regulate the use of social media by officers and men.
In the wake of increasing rates of political activities, the Nigeria Police Force is not relenting in ensuring that lives and property of citizenry is secured at all times. These recruits are being adequately armed with requisite knowledge and guidelines of elections and the use of social media while carrying out their constitutional duties. More than 700 recruits currently undergoing training are being prepared to take up the challenge of delivering their mandates.
We are teaching them the principles of PR to do the job when they go out there. We have a document on the duties of police in election security management. We are expected to be neutral, to be apolitical,
to be professional in your dealings.
In ensuring the ethics of policing and use of social media in accordance to the Nigerian police policy on the use of social media is ahead too.
We actually need to regulate the way our officers use social media. If you are not the PR person, we are not on the rank of commissioner of police and above, you can't do anything on social media.
As the electioneering process is underway, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has directed that the training of recruits to augment the strength of the police in carrying out the force duties in election management be adhered to. He said the training will be replicated in the 4 premier police colleges and the 13 police training schools across the country. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Still on security, the Nigerian Army says it remains committed to maintaining the already existing relationship with the public, using the media to change the perception of people about their personnel during internal security and counter-terrorism operations. This was expressed at the 3rd quarterly media chat organized by the Department of Civil Military Affairs, Nigerian Army Headquarters. As the 4th estate of the realm, the media remains critical in the proper gathering of Army information, management, and its dissemination in line with global best practice. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, reiterated the commitment of the Nigerian Army in building an effective liaison with the media to control the kind of information that is put in the public space.
We are not saying you should not report anything, but we are only saying that you should report with responsibility. And that comes with experience and training. And I want to believe that since this counter-terrorism operation started, the press group have gone on a lot of training to learn on how to report and what not to report.
Army Headquarters Chief of Civil Military Affairs, Major General Marcus Kangye, says this edition is timely as the 2023 general elections approach.
Issues related to human rights violations and abuses by troops during internal security operations and counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency operations, amongst others, have been on the decline.
So media, therefore, must be advised to avoid the usual haste to break the news or publish and be done.
A panel session with military personnel and citizen journalists and an interactive session were part of the media chat. The Department of Civil Military Affairs, which was established to strengthen the relationship with the public, has also embarked on projects as part of their corporate social responsibility to endear the Army to the public. And those are contributions from Lagos. Nationwide will continue with Elizabeth in Abuja. But do not forget that you can still follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.nj/live and on our other verified social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. To stay.
The Nigerian electoral system is seemingly simple, yet may be complicated for some.
It's for them to come and tell us what they have.
Running an election is equivalent to what? A job application. I want them to identify the issues plaguing the common Nigerians.
PDP should focus on PDP and APC should focus on APC.
Let's show you what an election is all about as Nigerians pick the next president, governors, and legislators. We interrogate their plans, question the rationale, and review the prospects. Join us, the ballot.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement. terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dssPR@dss.
Friday, November 11, 2022. History will be made in the maiden edition of the Nigerian Marketing Awards.
Are you ready? It's happening live at the prestigious Eco Convention Center, Lagos, from 6 p.m. on.
It's a night where excellence and hard work will be rewarded in grand style. Be a part of this amazing experience. Save the date. The Nigerian Marketing Awards is internationally accredited by the Independent Awards Standards Council.
You're still watching Nationwide. After the commencement of campaigns ahead of the 2023 elections, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu is not comfortable with the manner parties are taking off with the process. Instead of this, at a training workshop on technologies to be deployed for the elections in Abuja.
Reports of clashes among parties and their supporters in some states of the country during the ongoing electioneering campaign is worrisome. So too is the reported denial of access to public facilities for parties and candidates in some states of the Federation. Let me caution parties and their supporters to focus on issues and steer clear of attacks on each other. These are not only violations of the Electoral Act 2022, but also negate the voluntary commitment by all political parties and candidates to the letter and spirit of the peace accord signed about 3 weeks ago under the auspices of the National Peace Committee. Parties, candidates, and their supporters should not, by acts of commission or omission, further complicate the prevailing security situation in the country. A peaceful electioneering campaign is critical to the conduct of peaceful and credible elections. The Commission will continue to monitor the situation closely and will convene a meeting with leaders of political parties next week to discuss, among other issues, the imperative of peaceful campaigns and equal access to public facilities. In the same vein, the Commission will also meet with security agencies under the auspices of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, and this meeting.
Now, to eradicate identified barriers to political participation of persons with disabilities in the 2023 general elections, the Albino Foundation has flagged off its nationwide campaign for inclusion. Key players in disability management at a media briefing say the campaign, supported by the European Union, is aimed at sensitizing the physically challenged across the 6 geopolitical zones on their electoral rights.
We look forward that after the election in February, we look forward to counting the number of persons with disabilities who won the election, and we look forward to seeing our people at the National Assembly and different state assemblies, and maybe governors, deputy governors, or whatever position.
Sure that issues affecting these category of persons are mainstreamed, the importance of voter education was raised.
We make effort to ensure that persons with disability will truly participate in the forthcoming election. We are very much aware of the challenges that persons with disability are going through in terms of the gaps, access to polling units, provisions of brailles, magnifying glasses, and issued around sign language. This project will address all of that.
Memoranda of understanding between RAPA, NCPWD, and the Albino Foundation for Equity were also raised and signed. Time to join Jenny in Port Harcourt for more reports.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. The National Population Commission, NPC, says all the substructures needed to conduct the 2023 population and housing census in Nigeria have been concluded and now wants relevant stakeholders to escalate awareness campaign to get all Nigerians involved. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
Nigeria, with estimated population of about 218 million people, is set to conduct National Population and Housing Census in 2023. The last exercise held in 2006, and the process for the 2023 Population and Housing Census is ongoing, with the enumeration, area demarcation and trial census done. The objective of this summit in Port Harcourt is to help create awareness about the upcoming exercise and mobilize the people to be part of the process.
The critical parts of the job have been concluded through EAD exercises. So we are going to engage almost 2 million personnel.
Population and Housing Census, which is the head count of households resident in the enumerated areas, is used for resource distribution, taxation, planning, and allocation of parliamentary seats, among others. Participants noted the imperative of this and the need for active participation.
With all the usefulness and the benefits therein, that in our economy or in our country, Nigeria, that census is important in terms of national planning.
We all know the benefits of census taking. We need to know, plan, keep everything, because without census taking, there will be no planning.
The summit had stakeholders drawn from the 23 local government areas of Rivers State, the police, military, among others in attendance. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Operatives of the Anti-Vandal Squad of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Akwa Ibom State Command, have burst an illegal fuel dump site where automotive gas oil and dual-purpose kerosene were stored in large quantities. Kelvin Samuel reports that 2 suspects were arrested with 100 drums of suspected illegal refined AGOs.
According to the Commandant, NSCDC Akwa Ibom State Command, Suleiman Mafara, the newly reorganized anti-vandal squad, while acting on intelligence report, stormed the apartment used for the illicit art in Ekodudoma, Eket local government areas of Akwa Ibom State, where 2 suspects were arrested and 130 drums of AGOs recovered.
We'll continue to pursue these criminals wherever they are to logical conclusion, to fight oil theft and bunkering in the Niger Delta, of which we are determined to do.
The NSCDC boss warned criminals to disease as it not only affects the nation's economy, but also destroying the environment.
This is a serious sabotage on the part of the economy. It is an attempt to destroy the nation's economy. Secondly, The effect of environmental degradation is here, as you can see this place.
Building used for the illegal activity is a 10-room apartment located in a residential area in Ekotudoma, which didn't appear as a fuel dump site where large-scale bunkering activity was taking place. Exhibits recovered include 130 drums loaded with illegally refined AGOs, 5 pumping machines, 3 generator sets, a brown Ford Ecoline van, 3,700 liters of kerosene stored in nylon bags, among others. The suspect and exhibit are presently in the custody of NCDC Akwa Ibom State Command for further investigation and possible prosecution. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
And that's it from Port Harcourt. It's now back to Elizabeth in Abuja.
Thank you, Jenny. In its quest to promote measures in combating corruption, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, is taking the fight against corruption to tertiary institutions. To achieve this objective, the ICPC organized a dialogue with students from various institutions with the aim of creating a platform for them to make inputs into the problems of corruption in institutions of higher learning. Experts suggest that the education sector must be well positioned to equip students with skills that will help them identify corrupt practices and contribute to nation building.
The outcome will prescribe how the anti-corruption vanguards will better strategize on how to fight corruption. It will, first of all, it will bring to the table a larger understanding of the nature of corruption in the tertiary institutions. It will describe it effectively, but it will also equip the anti-corruption vanguards with the necessary tools that are required for them to fight.
The Commission had introduced a national values curriculum whereby 12 time-tested and time-honored core values of honesty, integrity, transparency, accountability have been infused into examinable subjects such as English language, religious studies, social studies, civic education, etc., for teaching across all levels of education from basic to the university.
And next is sports updates.